Hello everybody, Superfang99 here. This video is starting off our Edge of the Earth campaign playthrough. Super excited to get this one going. This video is going to be the prologue as well as the setup for Scenario 1, Ice and Death, Part 1. So let's get rolling. We'll start by reading this illustrious campaign guide. Madness spreads under the ice. That seething, half-luminous cloud background held ineffable suggestions of a vague ethereal beyondness, far more than terrestrially spatial, and gave appalling reminders of the utter remoteness, separateness, desolation, and eon-long death of this untrodden and unfathomed austral world. H.P. Lovecraft at the Mountains of Madness. Edge of the Earth is a campaign for Arkham Horror the card game for 1 to 4 players. It contains 5 scenarios: Ice and Death, Fatal Mirage, To the Forbidden Peaks, City of the Elder Things, and the Heart of Madness. And as it says, that it can vary in length between 4 and 10 scenarios. Very interesting. Additional rules and clarifications. Checkpoints. Some of the scenarios in the Edge of the Earth campaign are split into multiple parts. Players may choose to play these parts one at a time with breaks between each part, or they may play multiple parts one after another as part of a longer session. Each part is its own game with its own setup and resolution. After completing one part of a scenario, the campaign guide directs the investigators to a checkpoint, then instructs them how to proceed. If the investigators wish to proceed directly to the next part of the scenario, the checkpoint will instruct them how to clean up the game to prepare for the next part of the scenario. If the investigators wish to take a break and resume playing during their next game session, the checkpoint will instruct them to record information in the campaign log that makes setup for the next session quick and easy. So hopefully for you today, I will not be having to take a break between play sessions and should be able to leave everything on the table so we can just go straight into the next one, of course, after doing things like upgrades and the like. All right, and here's one of the big new mechanics of this set, Frost Tokens. This expansion introduces a new type of Chaos Token, the Frost Token. At the start of the Edge of the Earth campaign, the Chaos Bag contains only a few relatively harmless Frost Tokens, if any. As the expedition continues, depending on the decisions the investigators make and the events that unfold, more Frost Tokens may be added to or removed from the Chaos Bag, altering the difficulty of every test the investigators perform. The more Frost Tokens added to the Chaos Bag, the more crippling their effects become. The first Frost Token revealed from the Chaos Bag during a skill test has the following effect. -1, reveal another token. If another Frost Token is revealed from the Chaos Bag during the same test, immediately end the Reveal Chaos Token step of the skill test and resolve the test as an automatic failure, returning all revealed Frost Tokens to the Chaos Bag after the test ends. Very, very spooky indeed. No more than 8 total Frost Tokens can be included in the Chaos Bag and or sealed on cards in play at any given time. A Frost Token revealed outside of a skill test has no effect on its own unless otherwise specified by a card effect. A Frost Token added to the Chaos Bag remains in the Chaos Bag from scenario to scenario, unless removed by a card or game effect. Use the Chaos Bag section of the campaign log to record which tokens are currently in the Chaos Bag. I'll get to this in a second, but since we're starting on standard, we're going to be starting with 1 Frost Token in the bag. Tekalili. This campaign includes an encounter set of 16 weaknesses, each with the title Tekalili. These cards are shuffled together to form a special Tekalili deck during the setup of each scenario of this campaign. Like normal weaknesses, if one of these cards is added to an investigator's deck, it becomes part of that deck and stays with the investigator from scenario to scenario. However, the resolution of each Tekalili weakness instructs the investigator to return it to the Tekalili deck, removing it from their own deck. As a result, the number of cards in the Tekalili deck varies based on how many of these weaknesses are in each investigator's deck. So this one's a little bit awkward since I have 2 different kinds of sleeves for these decks, so I brought some extra sleeves here to hopefully be able to sleeve those up. It'll be a little bit awkward, but hopefully shouldn't be too bad. All right, lastly, we have Partner. Partner is a keyword ability that appears on the 9 story assets in the Expedition Team encounter set. Each of these assets represents a powerful ally whom investigators can bring along during scenarios in this campaign to improve their chances of success. However, bringing an asset with the partner keyword endangers that asset, with the risk of losing them permanently. At the start of each scenario in this campaign, each investigator is given the option to choose a partner asset and put into play. Partner assets cannot be added to the investigator's deck. An investigator may choose a different partner or no partner to bring each time they are given this choice. A partner asset cannot leave play unless it is defeated. For example, it cannot be discarded by card effects unless it explicitly is defeated. If an investigator is defeated, any partner asset they have with them is also defeated. Very important there. If a partner asset is defeated, remove it from the game. Then cross off that character's name in the Expedition Team section of the campaign log. They're gonna be dead. Damage or horror on a partner asset is recorded in the Expedition Team section of the campaign log at the end of each game. The campaign guide will instruct you when to do this. If an investigator resigns from a scenario, their partner asset leaves play but is not defeated. Keep all damage and horror on it, as it will be recorded in the campaign log after the game ends. So, just to show this off, this is the back of the campaign log. I've nicely photocopied it. And these are our 9 partners, and we will be recording what happens to them as we go. Lastly, there is Alert if you haven't played the Forgotten Age, or I think ever since the Forgotten Age, Alert's been here, but, you know, if you fail and evade against an enemy, a ready enemy with Alert, it will attack you. All right, so we've already chosen our investigators, as I've shown in the previous video. We have Lily here, and we have Monterey. We've assembled our decks. We will be playing on Standard. Thus, we will have a +1, 2 zeros, 3 -1s, 2 -2s, a -3, a -4, 1 Frost token, 2 skulls, 1 cultist, 1 tablet, and of course the Elder Sign and the auto-fail. Get this mixed up. All right, and we can begin with the prologue. All right, this is going to be a lot of reading, so buckle up. Here we go. I am forced into speech because men of science have refused to follow my advice without knowing why. It is altogether against my will that I tell my reasons for opposing this contemplated invasion of the Antarctic. With its vast fossil hunt and its wholesale boring and melting of the ancient ice cap, and I am the more reluctant because my warning may be in vain. Doubt of the real facts, as I must reveal them, is inevitable. Yet, if I suppressed what will seem extravagant and incredible, there would be nothing left. That's from the At the Mountains of Madness, of course. You understand now, yes, why this expedition must be stopped. Professor William Dyer sits across from you at his office desk. A wealth of academic papers and scientific journals lies sprawled between you, including Dyer's own lengthy account of his journey to the Antarctic. Up until the publication of this revised report, the alleged truth, the university's last expedition to Antarctica, yielded very little in the way of scientific discoveries. At Dyer's request, you'd read through this new report of what really happened beyond those mountains of madness, as he had dubbed them. You scarcely would have believed any of it, were it not for the bevy of photographs and drawings that came along with it, evidence of mangled, dissected bodies, of perplexing 5-pointed snow graves, of strange specimens found half buried in the ice, and finally, aerial shots of the jagged black peaks described in Dyer's tale. Dyer has called on you to help convince his colleagues to abandon their planned follow-up expedition. His student Danforth, the only other member of the expedition to reach the alien stone city described in Dyer's report, paces back and forth by the entrance to Dyer's office, muttering nonsensically to himself while you consider their strange tale. You're still unsure what to make of all this. On the one hand, Dyer's concern seems genuine, and his account is filled with such detail and specificity that you find it difficult to doubt its authenticity. And yet, there's no way it could all be true. An ancient city in the ice, built by primordial beings, So-called elder things? How could such things be real? Danforth mumbles something about a nameless black pit as you place Dyer's report back on his desk. The professor gazes at you with sleepless, bloodshot eyes. Well, Dyer asks, will you help us stop this madness? Will you make them see reason? The lead investigator, who's Lily, must decide. Choose one. I believe you, but if what you say is true, should we not investigate these findings further? I'm sorry, but this seems too wild to be true. Let's see. Lily is a martial artist. I think, I don't know. I think she would be a little doubtful of what Dyer and Danforth have brought back. For no other reason than I'm interested to see where this goes. We skipped to Prologue 3. That's Prologue 2. Prologue 3. Dyer's jaw clenches and his cheeks redden. For a moment, he looks as though he's about to slam his fist on the desk between the two of you, but after a moment of consideration, he takes a deep breath and shakes his head. I suppose to any reasonable person it would seem that way. Perhaps my faith in the scientific community was misplaced. Of course, Dr. Kensler would not believe me, not even with all this evidence. He shoves several of the photographs on his desk aside in frustration. You explained that Dr. Amy Kensler, the scientist leading this new trek to Antarctica, is motivated by genuine academic curiosity, rather than greed or glory. It matters not, Dyer remarks bitterly. Even so, she seeks more evidence of my findings, despite my warnings, and so the cycle continues. Perhaps science itself is not but folly. We are but silly little mice under glass, seeking escape for our own sake, with little understanding of what lies beyond our cage. Danforth approaches, eyes fixed on the photographs scattered across Dyer's desk. Perhaps what we saw is nothing more than the overactive imaginings of two explorers with a career fascination for the bizarre and macabre, of Arthur Gordon Pym's ill-fated journeys. Dyer's eyes narrow at his student. The knowledge reflected in his dark eyes chills you to your core. You say such things, and yet, I dare say, you did not see what I saw. The student scoffs. You are not the one who glimpsed that mirage at the edge of the mountainside. I'm not referring to the mirage, Danforth. I'm referring to what I saw in you, Dyer retorts. The things you said on that aeroplane, the look on your face, I'll never forget. Silence pervades the room as Danforth returns to his corner to languish in his own doubt. Dyer pleads with you. Whatever the case may be, is there nothing I can say to deter you? You explained that the only way you could possibly believe his story is if you saw it with your own two eyes. Very well then. Dyer rises to his feet. Since you lot have no clue what you're getting into, I suppose we have no choice but to come too. You can tell Dr. Kensler that she wins. We'll be ready to leave within the week. You nod and make for the door. I hope for all our sakes that Danforth is right, he adds before you are out of earshot. In your campaign log, record the investigators did not believe Dyer's report. Add 1 tablet token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign, and we will proceed to Prologue 4. All right, let's write this down. The investigators did not believe Dyer's report. And we add a tablet. Let me go get that. Very curious. Okay, so we have 2 tablets in here. Let me mark that down here. +1 tablet. All right, and we will go to Prologue 4. Lots of reading. You peer up at the overcast sky, hoping it does not forebode things to come. Only a sliver of sunlight peeks through the clouds. You shudder and pull your coat closed over your shoulders, then continue onward to the edge of the Boston Harbor dock. Gather each of the cards from the expedition team encounter set. As you read the rest of this prologue and each member of the expedition team is introduced, find the story asset from that encounter set that matches their name and acquaint yourself with their card. The expedition team encounter set is indicated by the following icon. Well, okay, let's go get them. They should be over here. Yep, here they are. Here they are. Well, we'll go through them one by one as we read these. Standing in front of the plankway leads up to the deck of the Theodosia is Dr. Amy Kensler, a professor of biology at Miskatonic University. The no-nonsense scientist has been a fixture of the university's sciences department for over a decade. Without so much as peering up from her clipboard, she crosses off your name as you approach. Good of you to make it on time. Mr. Ellsworth here will take your luggage aboard. All right, let's go find Dr. Amy Kensler. There she is. Oops. So, she is a professor of biology. She is a partner, of course, and she uses 3 secrets, and she is an ally in Miskatonic. As an action, spend a secret and exhaust Dr. Amy Kensler to investigate. Investigate with a base intellect skill of 5. If you succeed, look at the top card of any investigator's deck or the encounter deck. You may discard that card. All of this is so fascinating. Do you not agree? 2 health and 4 sanity. Oh, I will I? The man standing next to her replies with a chuckle. He offers you his hand in introduction, and you shake it. Roald Ellsworth, at your service. Here he is. He is an intrepid explorer. He is a partner, of course, and uses 5 supplies. He is an ally, Miskatonic, and a wayfarer. As a free triggered ability, during an investigator's turn, exhaust Roald Ellsworth and spend a supply. Choose a treachery attached to any location. Treat that treachery's text box as if it were blank until the end of this turn. I've been all over this world. Please, just trust me. 4 health and 2 sanity. His ability is really good. I might plan on taking him along. Where the heck was I? Right. By way of introduction, Dr. Kensler explains, Mr. Ellsworth has been on over a dozen expeditions and comes highly recommended. I'm sure his expertise will be invaluable in the weeks to come. Ellsworth rolls his eyes. His expertise, yes, and his willingness to be used as manual labor, he adds with a chuckle as he hefts her luggage and takes it up the plankway. Come on, Ellsworth, shouts another voice from inside the ship. A gruff-looking man with a thick brown beard emerges, motioning for Ellsworth to hurry. We got a ton of work to get done before we embark. A little busy, Cookie, Ellsworth shouts back in reply. Then he turns back to you and remarks over his shoulder. Do not mind him. Cookie is a bit of an intense fellow, but he is all right. The name's Fredericks, the gruff man barks back. James Fredericks. I swear sometimes I think I'm the only one here who's ready for this damn trip, he mutters angrily. And didn't anyone ever tell you it's bad luck to name a ship after someone who died at sea? All right, let's go find Cookie. Cookie's hilarious. James Cookie Fredericks. He is a dubious choice. He's a partner and, of course, uses 3 ammo. He's an ally, veteran, and a wayfarer. Spend an ammo as an action and exhaust James Cookie Fredericks. Fight. Fight with a base combat skill of 5. If you succeed and the attacked enemy is non-elite, it cannot attack for the remainder of the round. No, I ain't leaving my damn gun back at camp. And he has 5 health and 1 sanity. All right. Another voice calls down from the deck of the ship. Cookie, if you could be so kind as to lower your voice. Some of us are trying to work up here. The man responds with a grunt and ducks back inside the ship, rolling his eyes. You crane your head upwards and see a young woman leaning over the railing of the ship's deck, her long brown hair tied into a thick ponytail that dangles around her neck. Hey, you made it, she calls out to you. Dr. Kensler was pretty excited that you're coming along. Looking forward to working with you. Without looking up from her clipboard, Dr. Kensler mumbles. Miss Takada Hiroko is our aeroplane mechanic. As with the previous expedition, we will be constructing our planes on site. No need to worry. She may be one of the youngest in her field, but she knows what she's doing. All right, let's go find Miss Takeda Hidoko. She is an airplane mechanic, of course. She is an ally and a wayfarer, and she's a partner, and she uses 5 resources. As an action, exhaust Takeda Hidoko. Move up to 3 resources from Takeda to your resource pool. Nobody knows these machines better than I do. 3 health, 3 sanity. She seems really good for Lily specifically, because she needs a lot of money. More of the crew begin to arrive, one by one. The first is a man in his 30s, with a wispy blonde beard and bright green eyes. Mr. Avery Claypool. Dr. Kensler introduces you to the man, and the 2 of you shake hands. Mr. Claypool is an associate of Mr. Ellsworth. He will be serving as our guide in the Antarctic. All right. Where is he? There he is. He is an Antarctic guide. He's an ally and a wayfarer. He's a partner, and he uses 5 supplies. As a reaction, when an investigator at your location reveals a frost token during a skill test, exhaust Avery Claypool and spend a supply. Cancel that token and reveal a new one. Weather is turning foul again. I would tell you to turn back, but I gather you would refuse, right? 3 health and 3 sanity. That one might be good for Monterey Jack, now that I'm thinking about it. Weather permitting, Claypool jokes. Honestly, we'll be lucky if we can even get off the ice shelf. I'm confident with your skills we'll make it as far as Dyer and Lake did. Right, next page. Okay, last page of reading, I promise. That is what I'm afraid of, Claypool mutters, walking briskly past Kensler and up the plankway. On his way up, he passes Ellsworth, and the 2 freeze, locking eyes. You could swear that the temperature lowers several degrees as the 2 brush by one another without a single word. They are usually on better terms, Dr. Kensler says under her breath, but recently fell into some issue or another. They had better learn to live with their differences. They will be unable to avoid one another for quite some time, after all. You watch as Claypool's gaze wanders back to Ellsworth for just a fraction of a second before he turns away angrily and enters the ship. The next to arrive is a woman with warm brown skin and weary eyes. Along with her luggage, she carries a rather large, bright red medical kit emblazoned with a white cross. She extends her hand, and you cannot help but notice the nervous tremble in Dr. Kensler's hand as she shakes it. Thank you for joining us on this voyage, Mala. Oh, Amy, somebody has to keep you alive, she replies. There is a moment of awkward silence as Dr. Kensler glances up at the woman, then down at her feet, her cheeks tinged red. Right, well then, she remarks, and continues up the walkway. Definitely some stuff going on between them. Dr. Kensler clears her throat once she is out of earshot. Dr. Mala Sinha is our physician, she explains. It took some convincing to get her to join us, so try not to abuse her expertise with inconsequential problems. Frostbite will be a very real concern, as will gangrene and hypothermia. Try to stay on her good side. You're unsure if Dr. Kensler is joking. All right, Dr. Mala Sinha. There she is. She's a daring physician. She's an ally and a wayfarer. She's a partner, and she uses 3 supplies. As an action, spend a supply and exhaust Dr. Mala Sinha. Heal 2 damage from an investigator or another ally asset at your location. Want to survive this trip? Good. Then don't get on my bad side. 4 health, 2 sanity. A man's voice pierces the sudden silence, along with the clamor of a dog barking. On you! Damn it! On you! Don't run off like that, he shouts. That will be Mr. Ashvac, Dr. Kensler says, scratching off another name from her list. Moments later, you watch as a large gray-furred dog bounds towards you, its tongue hanging out of its mouth in excitement. You lean over and pet the dog, running your hand along her thick, long fur. The man finally catches up to the dog, huffing with effort. On you! Come on, I thought I trained you better than this, he says, catching his breath. Elia Ashvac is our dog handler. Is it Elia or Elia? I'm not entirely sure of that. I'm going to go with Elia. Dr. Kensler interjects. He is in charge of taking care of the 44 sledge dogs we are bringing along with us, not to mention their feeding and training. All right, let's go bring Elia Ashvac. He is the dog handler. Ally wayfarer. He is a partner and uses 3 supplies. As an action, spend a secret and exhaust Elia Ashvac. Evade. Attempt to evade with a base agility skill of 5. If you succeed, you may move to a connecting location. Anyu's got the scent. Have it, you girl. 3 health and 3 sanity. He's a little Mr. Rillier on a stick, huh? Anyu here makes 45, he corrects her before turning to shake your hand. Also, we'll be holed up in this ship for a while, so let's drop the formalities. Just Elias fine. As the man and his enormous dog board the ship, you ask Dr. Kensler if she received the letter you sent regarding Professor Dyer's concerns. I'm well aware of his report, Dr. Kensler replies, but as I told him time and time again, I have no intention of ceasing or postponing this expedition. Just then, footsteps approach behind you, interrupting your conversation. Speak of the devil, Dr. Kensler mutters, looking up from her clipboard. You turn to find none other than Professor William Dyer and his student Danforth, each toting several bags of luggage. I'm glad you finally decided to join us, William. All right, let's go see them. Professor William Dyer, he's a professor of geology. He has ally and Miskatonic traded. He is a partner and uses 3 secrets. As an action, spend a secret and exhaust Professor William Dyer. Heal 2 horror from an investigator or another ally asset at your location. Doubt of the real facts, as I must reveal them, is inevitable. And Danforth. He's a brilliant student. This guy is super sus. Ally and Miskatonic. Partner, and he uses 5 secrets. As a reaction, after an investigator at your location resolves a Tekalili weakness, exhaust Danforth and spend a secret. That investigator draws 2 cards. Danforth was a great reader of bizarre material. All right, it's almost done. Amy, he acknowledges, I'm not here because I believe in your mission statement. I am here to make sure you and your companions do not get themselves killed. You have no idea what you are walking into. Then you will have ample enough opportunity to educate us along the way. She turns to address young Danforth, who is staring up at the tanker ship with a pained expression. Danforth, I hope you understand that you are under no obligation to come along on this expedition. After everything you've went through, she trails off, her eyebrows raised in worry, atypical of her usual cold demeanor. I appreciate your concern, Dr. Kensler, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity to return to Antarctica. I need to be there again. He's so sus. Oh my god. She follows his gaze to the Theodosia, which bobs steadily up and down on the choppy Atlantic waters. Very well. We are still working to get all of our equipment aboard. Mr. Ellsworth can help you find your rooms. You nod and begin boarding, along with the remaining crew and the rest of the expedition team, mostly students of the university, along with several unaffiliated explorers and several researchers in a variety of fields. Once more, you spy the scant sliver of sunlight above, before it is smothered by gray clouds. These 9 characters will be your partners throughout this campaign. Their various talents will be crucial in the scenarios to come. However, if you wish for this expedition to be successful, it is imperative that you keep them healthy and sane. In the expedition team section of the campaign log, you can view the status of each member of the expedition team. As they are injured or begin to question their sanity, update the campaign log accordingly. You will be instructed when to do so. As each team member is killed or driven insane, cross them off this list, one by one. When you are ready to begin the campaign, proceed to Scenario 1, Ice and Death. Well, I was planning to do the setup for that scenario as part of this video, but this episode is going a little long, so I think I'll save it for next time. Hopefully it should be up pretty soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is SuperVang99 signing off.